we have to talk about the Dallas Cowboys. They have won 4 straight games with a backup quarterback in Cooper Rush that had just 1 total NFL career start. During that stretch, they have beaten a handful of teams that are all in the playoff mix. The Giants, 2 weeks ago, they were 4-1. The Commanders. And then yesterday, they beat the defending Super Bowl champions in the Rams convincingly with a defense that looks to be a bona fide top 5 unit. J. Ray, you came out a few weeks ago and apologized for your reaction to their slow or bad performance in week 1. Are the Cowboys contenders to make a run? I'm not even talking the Super Bowl. Can they change the narrative of a franchise that has not won playoff games by at least making it to the NFC Championship game?
Oh man, NFC Championship game is crazy. But yeah, I have to say, damn, it's crazy. We're going into week 6 now. And after week 1, I said they were done. And now in week 6, I'm calling them a contender. But yeah, I have to. I didn't anticipate this defense being nearly as good as they are right now. And Cooper Rush is winning games. The guy's undefeated as a starter right now. Dak Prescott, your MVP, should be back soon. I think the sky's the limit right now. Why not? They're healthy. They're playing good football. They literally, like you said, convincingly beat the defending champions. Damn. I hate to say it, but yes, the Cowboys, America's team, can make a run. And next week is the big show for them against Philadelphia, going into Philadelphia. Why not? This defense is too good to lose with. They didn't have this in years past.
I wonder who could have predicted that before the season. Was it you? Oh, it was this guy right here. This guy said that. I said this defense is going to be a top-notch defense. I said they're not done after week 1. Interesting developments happening. Listen, that Rams-Cowboys game, right out of the gate, the Rams started behind the 8 ball. I mean, they had the fumble 6 on the first drive, and then they had a blocked punt. I mean, they're lucky they didn't go down 14-0. Lucky it was only 9-zip. They had a missed PAT, the Cowboys did. The O-line for the Rams held up solid for a little bit, but then it just kind of poured on towards the end. And I think a little bit had to do, something that had a little bit to do with that was Micah probably being out for a couple of plays with the groin injury. But damn, that kid is a fighter. I mean, even with the groin injury, he was working every offensive lineman that the Rams had to throw at him. That kid is insanely special. The Rams run game was non-existent again, 15 for 38 yards. That's 2.8 a carry. Allen Robinson, another no-show. And I texted you guys this over the last weekend because I heard Dan Orlovsky say this stat, and I thought it was a pretty telling stat because we couldn't figure out what the hell is going on with Allen Robinson and why the performance really isn't up to par of what everybody expected from him and what his contract says his numbers should be. He's getting paid like $14-15 million. Allen Robinson ranked 144 out of 145 in yards per separation in the last 2 years, counting this season. He's just not getting open. So it looks like that signing for Allen Robinson was a bad idea. It looks like the trading of Robert Woods was a bad idea. The defense was unable to get a turnover all game on Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush really didn't even do much. I mean, 10 for 16, 102 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Just really game managed the game away. The defense played incredible. The run game was pretty good. Zeke was a solid. Pollard 8 for 86, and he had that 57-yard touchdown that was just breaking tackles. But yeah, this Rams team is not looking well. McVay realizes it after the game. He was basically saying, like, this team needs to play better. The team needs to have Stafford help Stafford out a lot more because Stafford is not getting a lot of help besides Cooper Kupp. It's really just Stafford to Cooper Kupp is this offense. Just a stat to throw at you, and then John, you can go. In this last game against the Cowboys, Stafford, when pressured, He was 6 for 15 for 59 yards and an interception. When he wasn't pressured, 22 of 27 for 249 yards and a touchdown. The line's got to play better. And I think they've had like 9 different groups, if I'm not mistaken, for their first 5 games.
John, before you go, I want to highlight one thing that Brandon said because he's touched on Cooper Rush's stats of 10 for 16, 102, just game managed the crap out of the game. And I think that's one of the good things about this Dallas team. Your quarterback doesn't seem to – you don't need to do too much. You're not asking too much out of Cooper Rush. And that's scary because when Dak Prescott comes back and CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup and Schultz are getting really involved in the action, they can really take off. I think if they can match their offensive numbers like last year with the defense that they have in place, I think this team might be able to steal this division from Philly.
The Cowboys aren't contenders. They just aren't. You look at their matchups, their wins, the Rams, the Giants, the Bengals. All of those teams have been tremendous matchups for their defense. Or better yet, they've played a team in Cincinnati who has a poor, inadequate offense with bad play calling. They haven't actually beaten a Philadelphia, a San Francisco, a Tampa Bay. Against Tampa with Dak Prescott, they look dead in the water. There's no denying this Cowboys defense is the best unit they've had in quite some time. But when we're looking at true contenders, the groups that can take you to the highest of highest in playoffs, Tennessee, they made a crazy run, but they have Mike Vrabel, coach of the year. I'm not putting my money in Dak Prescott coming off of injury and Mike McCarthy. Now, kudos to Mike. He currently is firmly into the coach of the year discussion because of the fact he's won 4 straight with a backup quarterback. But this Dallas team has to prove it to us. They have to show us. Last year, they lost to a game manager in Jimmy Garoppolo, and this team is not better than what it was in years past. Some players have developed, some players have gone, and ultimately, Dak Prescott is going to come back from injury and probably be a little bit rusty early on initially. And there's still a lot left to be seen because they haven't played Philadelphia in either of those 2 matchups. And out of all the teams that they've beaten thus far, none of them were impressive groups. Like I said before, Philadelphia's 5-0 right now. I think next week they're going to beat the Giants by 2, or they're going to beat the Cowboys by 2 scores.
All right, see, this is where I got to stop you. What the hell are you talking about, dude? Are the Philadelphia Eagles contenders, John?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. That offensive
right,
line is one of the best in football.
Stop. I asked you a simple yes or no question. No need to elaborate because your argument is dog crap at best. You just sat here and said that the Cowboys' strength of schedule is the reason why they're not contenders. I give you the Philadelphia Eagles schedule. They played the Lions, who have one of the worst defenses in the NFL. They played the Minnesota Vikings with Kirk Cousins in prime time, and we all know Kirk Cousins in primetime games is absolute ass. They played the Commanders, who have been terrible this season. They played the Jacksonville Jaguars, and then they played the Arizona Cardinals. Do you know this Eagles team is spanning from last season too, that they are still winless against playoff teams?
Yeah,
they haven't even
Jaguars
played a
win
playoff.
was impressive.
Okay, that's an impressive win. Okay, they haven't played anybody either. Like, okay, you said the Jaguars game is impressive. How impressive is it? Like, is it really
coming back from behind
impressive?
in a game with terrible weather conditions? That showed the resilience of that Philadelphia
What's
team.
more impressive?
How they can.
What's more impressive, that or the fact that the Cowboys have won 4 straight games with a backup quarterback?
It's fair.
Like, are we? And Michael Gallup just got back. Tyron Smith is still out. Like, what?
So are you calling the Cowboys contenders?
I'm not calling any of these NFC East teams contenders. I've stated that before. None of these teams are winning a Super Bowl this year. Sorry to burst your guys' bubble, but that's not happening. But that's another discussion for another day.
You just popped my cousin's happiness right there because I was watching the football game with my cousin, and he's a big Eagles fan, and he goes, "Man, I'm really looking into getting Super Bowl tickets."
Yeah, no, because just remind him Remind them the fact that they haven't played any legitimate team yet. They're still winless against playoff teams. So call me when they play a real team. Same, the Cowboys can be said too. But John, you can't sit here and say that for the Cowboys and say they're not contenders, and then sit here with the Eagles and say they are contenders when they've had just as weak of a schedule.
They've just been more impressive, and I think Philadelphia is a more complete team. That offensive line, the defensive front are ridiculous, and the secondary is elite. AJ Brown is one of the deadliest weapons. He's better than CeeDee Lamb.
Okay.
And Jalen Hurts, call me crazy, I'd rather have him as my quarterback than Dak Prescott.
Yeah, no.
Already,
No.
I'm taking him over Dak.
No.
But even this, you got to ask yourself, who is elite in the NFC?
NFC East
San
or
Francisco.
NFC?
In the NFC,
Oh,
who's
the
elite?
Buccaneers.
And
The Buccaneers.
okay, so if you see only one team, I only see two. I see the Buccaneers and the 49ers as the top dogs in the NFC. Now, I really don't think the Eagles are that far behind.
Mhm.
I think the Eagles are better than the Bucks.
No, I think the one thing that's going to draw them back is Jalen Hurts.
So if you see only one elite team in the NFC, who's number two?
Yeah, it's a dogfight for number two. I mean, that's why I have the Bucks.
Has to be the Eagles,
Bar-
right? Because
bar-
Minnesota's frauds.
Yeah, don't bring the Minnesota Vikings up when we're talking about these type of teams.
4-1.
Okay, that's fine. Call me when Kirk Cousins actually plays good and wins a primetime game, because those are playoff games, and history shows us, right?
I do want to say a contender can be a team that makes it to a conference championship. You don't have to go to the Super Bowl to be a contender.
I'm not
If the
judging.
Bengals last year lost to the Chiefs
Bowl.
in the AFC Championship, we'd still be calling them contenders.
I'm judging Super Bowl. I'm judging Super Bowl.
But if you're a game away from the Super Bowl, to me, anything can happen in one game. You're just a contender. A
Okay.
contender is one that's in position, and that very much is in position.
Okay. But
Let me defend the Birds real quick, because I really think that you're disrespecting the talent that they have around them. When you got Slay and Bradbury back there on defense, the DBs are no joke.
me?
They're fine. Yeah, the
What
Eagles are
did I
elite to me.
What did I say about their position players that is not good?
No, I'm not talking about the position players. I'm just trying to point to you that they can be contenders with the team that they have.
You don't have to explain to me. I know that they have a very good team. My major drawback was Jalen Hurts as their quarterback, being a consistent passer for 17 full weeks and going into the playoffs. And the fact
And what
that
does he look like now?
that's fine. It's week 6 going into week 6. What teams have they really played that's given?
Okay, regardless of the team, he's playing like an MVP.
Okay, that's fine. We've seen that before. We'll see if he keeps it going. That's what I just tried to say before you cut me off. Again, I'm getting cut off as I'm saying you just cut me off. I said I need to see it through a 17-week schedule into the playoffs, and he is yet to beat a playoff team. Call me when that happens.
It's not even the MVP candidacy, but it's Jalen Hurts' attitude, his approach, the mindset he comes in week to week with. That's what makes me have a full vote of confidence in him sustaining this, because that kid is an absolute workhorse.
Yep, I never said that. Never said that. I believe that 100%. I agree with your sentiments right there. I said consistent as a passer. That is my drawback. That's it. Nothing about his intangibles. I believe in his intangibles. I believe all that. I believe he's a winner. I believe he's a leader. My drawback is consistent passer, especially against elite defenses and elite teams.